Hello and welcome to Warblog. Just wanted to have a quick chat about this map. This is a game called Spinakalacha, or Spinakalacha. It's set in Afghanistan. Now I've been reading this book called The Bear Went Over the Mountain. I'm trying to make it boring, but I can get it on my mobile phone, so you can find it on the internet as a PDF. I also actually have a sort of another one that's pretty much based on the same sort of material, the Soviet-Afghan War, how a superpower fought and lost, but it's not as good. Anyway, to make it really boring, I was travelling and I thought I could do something and couldn't. So I thought, I got that Bear Went Over the Mountain map, and I don't have any paper, so I went to the washroom facilities on the airplane and pulled out some tissues. These are hand tissues, not the other sort of tissues. These are definitely hand tissues. And I just sat down and wrote probably about 5 or 6 scenarios down on paper. And so I'm trying to work through them. So there's going to be a lot of Afghanistan ones. But the point is, I did the other one, which is sort of okay. It seemed to match some document. Well, let's face it, it didn't match the document. And I'm beginning to think that the maps that they are showing, go away, I hate the pop-up thing. There's so much automation now, you can't even copy and paste things anymore. Anyway, see if I can get there without popping up anything. No. Okay, so here's the map for storming Spinakalacha village. They said the 31st of December, but they left on the 31st. Maybe it is the 3rd, maybe it is December. I just thought they took so long. Our battalion had to be in Spinakalacha combat area by the 31st, so maybe they did it on the 31st. So there's a few, and basically the maps just don't match up. So here's the map for storming Spinakalacha, whatever it's called. And there's Kandahar. There's Kandahar. It's actually a very long and wide city. So to make it as small as they've got there, it would have to be sort of here. And it's not. You know, if it was there, it just doesn't make any sense. There's this road. So this road must be pretty important. And it's north of Kandahar. There's no road north of Kandahar. The road sort of goes through Kandahar. It doesn't go north of Kandahar. Not unless Kandahar is sort of somewhere down here. There's these sort of roads that go up this. Well, this is the north-south. If you look at that, it's suggesting that this map's actually tilted a bit. So I actually spotted that, and I started to look at it with my head tilted. Even that didn't do any help. So we've got these sort of, we've got Graculacha. So we've got these contours which indicate mountain, 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 but there just aren't any. If you look at it on the map, I'm not going to show you the Google map because I can't be bothered to, well, I might. There's only a couple of, there's this major mountain feature here, which you could maybe call Bazar Chech. And then there's, down here, there's Wallakan. Now these are distinctive. Now that is a distinctive line. I'm going to show you. Let me just sort of scan out. So I've got to. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this works. So here we have. There's Wallakan, and up here we have Kandahar. So as you can see, I don't go much further east than Kars. So we've got Kars. There's Kars there. So basically that is that. And then Wallacan, as you can see, is down there. Now the bottom line is, if you zoom in here, there's Sherry Salk, which is sort of added. Sherry Salk. Some of these are a bit skew with. But there's no such place as Spinakalacha. That's all I'm trying to get to in this sort of video. No place at all. So I've plonked it sort of about here. But the thing is, when you start looking at it, there's villages everywhere. I mean, it's, you know, it couldn't have changed that much since 1987. I wouldn't change the year now. You know, look, villages everywhere, and nothing. Look at that, it's just villages everywhere. The whole place is just stuffed full. There's a Razzie. There. You know, I mean, to get this right, and there's roads everywhere, and you know, I'm assuming these are just major roads, significant roads. You know, in this desert you can go across country. This place is all semi-desert, semi-agricultural. The point I sort of made in the bit I wrote was, what could one village, you know, if they'd taken this village here. Now, I mean, what's even a village here? It's just this huge sprawling mass. I suppose this was the village. What possible strategic advantage could that have over this one? You know, but what I'm sort of getting to, I'm beginning to wonder whether this is a real book, because none of this makes any sense. Even the line work and the details sort of makes some sense once you sort of begin to understand it. I mean, they've got a legend up here, but you know, it looks like hairy growths. You know, and this is what I'm working with. It's sort of interesting, but I'm just really doing this video to sort of perhaps, you know, and these hills. I mean, what are these? Are these big mountains? I mean, where is the one that goes across? Even if you squidge here, these are like parallel. You know, what's this big long line down here? You know, there are things like that. You go over this way. Oh, I don't know. Double lines there. There's some double lines here. I just keep looking at it thinking, maybe I'll spot it. There's a big mountain. These things. Anyway, I don't know what happened now. I think I might have stopped it. Doesn't matter. I'm not doing anything. I haven't done any units yet. Essentially, the way it will work, there'll be some little mujahideen's in here. You will have to bring your units on across here, meet up in Kandahar, and then come down here and take the village out. You know, it just seems like massive disinformation, because if you read here, it says blah blah blah. From 21st of December, a strong enemy force overran a series of security outposts in the Daman region. I haven't actually figured out where that was. As a result, the enemy began to freely move arms and weapons into the Kandahar region. 2 battalions of Soviet separate motorized rifle brigades. 2 battalions of a Soviet separate motorized rifle brigade were unable to restore. So 2 battalions are unable to restore the situation. So this division commander, the division commander has asked this guy to take a motorized rifle battalion. So that's another one. So it's hardly doubling the size. And he ordered to take my battalion 500-kilometer road march to Kandahar. My battalion had to be in the Spinakalacha combat area by morning. Okay, so we've gone through this Spinakalacha Kandahar disjunct. But 500-kilometer road march, I wanted to do that by, I thought that sounds really good. I'll do a big road march and I'll have 500 kilometers across. So you've got to actually do the travel. So this is why you will have to still do your travel across here. But 500 kilometers, hang on, let's have a look. You can't see the scale there. Let me try and give you a clue what 500 kilometers is. It's about 500 kilometers. It's about 200 from there to there. So that's 500 kilometers across. You can't see the little widget. You can't see the scale down there. So it says, I mean, no, this little guy doesn't work. There's no street view in Afghanistan. But, oh, I don't know. Let's suppose this is about 100 miles. You know, there's just no way. And what he's saying in the book, or at least down in the footnotes, they have this sort of FIRS commentary. First, the totally successful march and concealed concentration of battalion in Kandahar was possible due to the thorough, complete preparation for the march and follow-on combat. Can't find what I want to say, but basically, actually, it's in one of the further ones down here. I read it on the plane. I think it's down at the bottom. There's commentary for the whole chapter. I've done all of these. Here, it's basically saying that because their units were so spread out, there you go, here. It's not commentary. From the entire book, it's apparent that the Soviet forces were spread very thin. Vignette 14 required a battalion each from 3 different regiments from a division spread over 400 kilometers. Well, we've just figured out that 400 kilometers is basically the whole of the country. They could not assemble a single regiment, which would have been more effective since they had to secure bases in LOCs. Vignette 18 required an understrength battalion to conduct a 500-kilometer road march on BMPs prior to entering combat. So it's basically saying that they were spread out very thin. One of the things that it did sort of say about that, where was I? Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, nearly up to 15 minutes. So, but essentially, none of these maps really add up. You know, the one I've just done earlier, the Magister one, didn't match up. This one doesn't. I'd almost give a prize for anyone who can actually say, "Oh, this is where Kandahar is. That's Kalancha," and triangulate on some points to actually pinpoint. Well, what's this thing here? What's this? You know, that looks like a city. Is that a city? I don't know. So anyway, I think I've done my map quite well, considering it's accurate when you look at it on Google Maps, because Kandahar, you know, I mean, look at this. Kabul, Kandahar. You know, clearly there's that massive significant feature. So anyway, I will get some troops done. I will get this finished eventually, I promise. and I'll speak to you later. Bye.